Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Hmm. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching me from. If you can see me, you can hear me. Can you let me know in the comment section so I know I can be heard and I can be seen? It's a beautiful day to have an amazing conversation. So you can see me, you can hear me. Can I get your comments? You can see me, you can hear me. Okay. Mhm. You can see me, you can hear me. Can I get a comment in the comment section if you are there so we can start? It's SOP online conversation and it promises to be an amazing conversation today. So if you can hear me, you can see me. Can I have, if you can see me, you can hear me. Can I know in the comment section so we can start off this conversation? You can see me, you can hear me. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're watching me from. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful conversation. Welcome to today's SOP online conversation. It promises to be an amazing conversation. So, today we're going to be talking about parenting mindset shifts. Now, we're going to be looking at this topic, and I believe that it's going to be one that will enlighten every one of us and make us see our parenting journey in a different light. You know, mindset matters a lot. Your mind is critical in how your life turns out. It's one of the critical, what's the word? Should I say ingredients? One of the critical aspects of life that must be looked into and paid attention to determine your endpoint, your mindset. What thoughts go on in your mind? How do you see life? How do you see various things? It's so critical. And when we translate it into parenting, it is very important. So, welcome to today's conversation on parenting mindset shifts. So, can I know where you're watching from? If you're actually on this conversation today with me, can I get your comments in the comment section? You can say where you're watching from and how excited it is for this conversation is holding today. So I'm happy to be here with you all, and I believe that the end of this conversation would have received light. Please do share the link to your friends and family members so they can join in on this conversation because there is always something to learn and always something to take home at the end of School of Parenting online conversation. So I'm going to start up the conversation immediately without wasting much time. So thank you so much. I can see you. Hello, hello at Santo. Is that Shada? Sandra, thank you. Hello. Welcome to today's conversation. So, you know, most times as parents, we focus more on changing our children. We have the mindset that we need to change our children. We need to work on our children. We need to do certain things for our children so that they can become better. And we shift focus from ourselves. But the truth is that our perspective to parenting, the way we see parenting, our beliefs as parents, is very important and very critical in our parenting journey. So before we focus on my child needs to be transformed, my child needs to be changed. Why not look at yourself? Why not, as parents, we look at ourselves and analyze what are my viewpoints as a parent concerning parenting? What are my perspective as a parent concerning parenting? What are the thoughts I have concerning parenting? Thank you. My husband is here. Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Christian Abbott. What are my thoughts concerning parenting? What are my beliefs concerning parenting? How do I see raising a child? What perspectives do I have when it comes to raising a child? So it is so important that we analyze these concepts, analyze our paradigms, analyze our perspectives, analyze our thoughts as it regards to raising our children. Because the truth is that your mind shapes how you turn out. Now, in your mind, your thoughts are generated. From your thoughts, it translates to your words. From your words, it becomes your action and it becomes a lifestyle. So you must pay attention to your mindset. It is very important. So your mindset towards anything sponsors your decision, sponsors your attitudes and action towards that thing. So your mindset is critical. Now, a mindset, let's try to dissect what a mindset is. A mindset is a set of beliefs, attitudes, and ways of thinking that shape how you see yourself first, how you see yourself, how you face challenges, and how you see the entire world. So let us superimpose this definition or this explanation on parenting. So, what is your parenting mindset? Your parenting mindset is the set of beliefs, the set of attitudes, the way you think that shapes how you see yourself first as a parent. How do you see yourself as a parent? That shapes your encounters, how you handle challenges in your parenting journey. That shapes how you take decisions, the decisions you make as you raise your children. That shapes your responses and your reactions, even as you raise your children. So your mindset is truly important. It shapes your understanding of what parenting truly is. You know, everyone sees parenting from a different perspective, but the truth is that your perspective to parenting will sponsor how you raise your children and will determine the end result. Because at the end of upbringing of your children, there is always a report card. Now, I listened to someone and the person said that parenting is an 18-year curriculum. At the end of 18 years, you are handed over your report card. And one thing that will help your report card to be a beautiful one is when you have the right mindset. The right mindset to life will motivate you in the right direction. The right mindset to parenting, excuse me, the right mindset to parenting will push you to keep doing what you need to do. The right mindset to parenting will build persistence even when you encounter challenges in dealing with your children, because sincerely, there are times that you're going to face challenges with your children. There are times you're going to look like, oh my God, this parenting, how am I going to undo this? How am I going to undo that? And it looks like, where am I right now? But your perspective, your mindset to parenting will be the driving force that will keep you through the turbulence, that will keep you through the time that it looks like, oh, nothing is working. So mindset is critical. Your mindset will drive your actions. Now, when it looks like, oh, I need to do this, I need to make the investment, why will you even make investments in having trainings as a parent? It's because you have the mindset that parenting is not it's not child's play. It's because you have the mindset that parenting is serious business. That is why someone will invest into building themselves as parents. That is why someone will invest into getting parenting books. That's why someone will invest into going to parenting courses, because you have the mindset that parenting is beyond just raising a child, it is raising a generation that will cause a turnaround in even the decadence we see amongst us. So your mindset drives your action. As a parent, what will make you sit with your child and have conversations, building soft skills, inculcating in them values, placing in them virtues? Your mindset. Mindset is critical. It will drive your actions. It will make you take the necessary steps that will produce the expected results. So your mindset is important. It will shape your reactions and your responses to various parenting situations you face. So you find yourself in a fix and you look at your teenage child, that this child you've invested so much is looking like, oh, what's happening to my child? When you have the mindset that this child is a gift from God, and you have been equipped with the ability to be able to mold and bring out the hidden potentials of this child and shoot this child as an arrow to the right target, you don't give up on the child. Mindset. Mindset. So your mindset drives your attention. Your mindset makes you to be persistent. Your mindset sponsors your reactions and your responses. So it is so important that we have the right parenting mindset. So as a parent, you can have one or two mindsets. Either you have a fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset. So what is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is a mindset that says that I cannot change. This is who I am. This is all I know. Ah, this is the way it is. So, this is how I've always done it. This is how we have always done it. This is all the knowledge I need. I don't need more. That is a fixed mindset. A mindset that resists growth. A mindset that resists change. A mindset that resists upgrade. That is a fixed mindset. As parents, we cannot have a fixed mindset. As parents, we must be malleable. We must be ready to improve. And that is where the growth mindset comes from. When you have a growth mindset, you have a mindset that says, I can be better. You have a mindset that says, I can do more. You have a mindset that says, I need more knowledge. You enter into the path of continuous improvement, into the path of continuous learning. And that is the greatest room in life, the room of improvement. There must be changes. And when you have the growth mindset, you are ready to improve on yourself. You are ready, you are open. Now, one thing I've learned in life is to be ready to unlearn and to relearn. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. When you have the growth mindsets, you are ready to unlearn things that have not been working, things that has not produced results, and begin to learn things that will give you results. We must have a growth mindset as parents. The attitude of this is the way it has always been. This is how I know how to do parenting. This is the way I am. I cannot change. Who said you cannot change? Is your life or your attitude cast in stone? Even when we talk about temperaments can be improved upon. You say, this is the way I am, this is my temperament. Where is it? You have a particular temperament. You can work on your temperament and become a better person. So we must have the growth mindset as parents. We can do better. Parenting is serious business. Parenting is a job. Parenting is responsibility. We are not joking here. You have children, you're going to have children, then you are in for serious business and serious work. One thing we need to know is that parenting is hard work. And when you know it is hard work, you must be ready to work. You must be ready to give your best. And you cannot have a fixed mindset. When you have a fixed mindset, even when it relates to every other aspect of life, you will not grow. When you have a fixed mindset, you will not improve. When you have a fixed mindset, you will never upgrade. We live in an evolving world, and parenting is evolving. The way we did parenting or our parents did parenting, not everything applies in this day and time. The children we have today are not the way we were many years ago. Things have changed. In many years ago, did you have what's the word? Wi-Fi network? Did you? Many years ago, there are certain things you see today. You can sit in your house and connect with millions of people. Did you have that many years ago? Things are evolving. Then why do you think you as a parent, you will not evolve and become better? So that is where parenting mindset shift comes into place. And it is so important. Your mindset influences your journey as a parent more than you think. It begins with your mindset, your thinking, your perspectives, and your conclusions. Very important. If you're with me on this conversation, just share the link to your friends and your families to join in on this conversation. And I believe we are beginning to learn. You can drop your questions, you can drop your comments. We learn from each other. Yes, drop your comments, drop your contributions, your questions, and I believe that we're going to be receiving light together. So, there is always room to correct the wrong beliefs we've had. There is always room to grow. There is always room for change. There is always room for improvements. So, whatever you are being through as a parent, and you say, I've seen parents that say, oh, I have made my children to this, I have made a lot of mistakes. Fine. Now that, excuse me, you recognize you have made a lot of mistakes, why not decide to start the journey of change? It is not enough to acknowledge I have made a mistake. One thing you need to do after acknowledging, you must begin to take steps to shift. You must begin to take steps to change direction. Acknowledgement is first step. The decision to walk in the new path is the next step. So acknowledging that, oh, I think I've done wrong in raising my child in this area is good. But after the acknowledgement and the fact of feeling down and feeling bad, what do you do next? You need to change. And that's why the mindset shift comes into play. So it is so important. It is so important that we evaluate our mindset as parents. Do we have the right mindset to parenting? Now, parenting mindset should that we should work with. There are various mindsets, but I'm just going to narrow it down to a few so that we don't overshoot. I'll try not to overshoot our time today. So I'm going to narrow it down to a few. Now, what are the mindsets you should work with as a parent? Number one, parenting does not come naturally. Some people will say, I'm not a natural parent though. I don't have the innate ability to parent. Oh, this person is a parent. Parenting is an act, A-R-T. And when it comes to an art, you have to learn it. You have to learn the skills of parenting. Now, when you come to parenting, there are skills that need to be learned. And it is not innate. There are certain things that you may be able to do based on your exposure, based on the years you have lived, the interactions with people. But when it comes to parenting, you must learn skills. You must learn how to interact with your children. You must learn how to communicate. You must learn emotional intelligence. You must learn how to speak with your children. It is so important how to connect with your children. So we need to learn the art of parenting. Okay. Now, you don't automatically become a parent because, let's say, you don't automatically become a parent in the active meaning of the word parent because you biologically fathered or mothered a child. Because you biologically gave birth to a child, you fathered a child or you mothered a child, does not translate to being actively or being, what's the word? Being a parent in the active sense of the word. Parenting goes beyond just giving birth to children. And we see in this day and time, a lot of people just give birth to children and leave them to themselves. And they say they are the parents. How? How? And we have parents today that are biologically fathered and mothered children, and other people are parenting their children. Parenting as in grooming, parenting as in molding, parenting as in instilling values, parenting as in giving direction, Parenting as in equipping with the necessary skills that will make them a voice in their generation. So you must learn the skills of parenting. Remember that parenting is a journey of becoming. Now, it's a journey of first becoming the best version of yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. Yeah. You want to raise a king and you're not a kingmaker? How do you raise a king? You have to be a kingmaker. You want to raise a king and you don't understand the dynamics of operation in the palace? How do you raise a king or a priest? So it is a journey of becoming first. You must first become what you want to see. You can't give what you don't have. You must learn the skills of the art of parenting. Now, it is becoming the role model your child sees. You must become. And becoming is a process. Becoming does not happen overnight. Becoming needs persistence. Becoming requires investment. Becoming requires persistence. Becoming requires resilience. Being ready. It is becoming a mentor to your child. It is becoming a true warrior that understands the dynamics, the skills of shooting their arrow to the bullseye, the target, not missing it. You know exactly where to point that arrow to. So the first mindset you must correct is that parenting is innate. As you are born a parent. You must learn the skills and the art of parenting. If you're with me on this conversation, can I feel that you're here with me and I'm not just talking to myself? Can I see comments? Can I know that you are actually following me on this conversation? And like I said, do share the link to your friends and family. It's very important. So we're still on the conversation, parenting mindset shift. We need to analyze, reevaluate our mindset as parenting. And that is why you cannot just feel that, okay, I'm not born, I beg, I don't have the ability to parent. Let me do the one I can and just leave the rest. I beg. And that's why some parents are like, okay, don't worry, they'll go to school. When they get to school, the teachers will do the rest. I beg. When they go to church or they go to church, in church, they will learn everything they need to learn. You have a responsibility. Now, we know that there are different shareholders when it comes to parenting and raising your children, but you are the primary stakeholder. The primary stakeholder. And you cannot forget that. You can't. And we will get to that mindset. So it is so important, very important, that you know that you need to learn the art of parenting. And how do you learn the skills of parenting? You must be ready to invest in knowledge. You must be ready to invest in the acquisition of wisdom. You must be ready. As parents in this day and time, you cannot just sit down and you're not reading any book. You don't go for courses. Even there are free courses you don't even want to take. You just say, I don't have the time. We know how to parent our children. We know how to do this. You know how to parent your children. Fine. Ask yourself. Evaluate your parenting journey. Sit down with your children. Ask questions. Are you really doing as well as you should? Are you? Be the judge of your own works. You must equip yourself with the necessary wisdom, with the necessary knowledge, with the necessary skills required to parent your children. You must be prepared. If I have people on this conversation that are maybe singles, that are expecting children, that do not have children yet, and know that in the nearest future they're going to have children, this is the time to prepare. This is the time to start preparing for that time. You must begin to sow the seeds in your life that will germinate the fruits that you can produce a wholesome child. Produce a child that will become a generational influencer for good. You have the time to begin to prepare. He that goes to battle must prepare for the war. You don't enter into the battlefield unprepared. You're going to be shot dead. Parenting is a battlefield. You come in ready to contend, ready to raise an individual you are being entrusted with, ready to raise a child that will not just be a non-entity or a deviant in society, but will be a voice of influence. You must be prepared for the battle. If not, you'll be swallowed up. It is important that you become. It is important that you get the skills required. Thank you, Atamarachi Omirago. I can see. Yes, parenting does not happen overnight. Becoming does not happen overnight. It is a process. You keep investing, you keep investing, you keep investing. You know, sometimes when you begin this work of becoming, the work of becoming, you find out that sometimes you fall by the wayside. It's not the end. Failure is not the end of the road. It's just a pause in your journey. What do? At the pause, you get up and you press the play button again and you continue. So even if I have parents on this conversation that feel like I have been doing a lot, have been trying, it's like it's not working, keep pressing on. Failure is not the end of the journey, it's just a pause. And you have the right to press play and continue that journey. See challenges as opportunity to be better, as opportunities to improve, and not as a final stop in your journey. As a parent, you will encounter challenges, you will encounter things that will, what's the word, that will threaten your beliefs sometimes. But the truth is that when you have the right mindset and you have a strong conviction about your perspectives, about your thoughts, about your beliefs, it pulls you through that challenging situation. So let's continue. Now, your mindset, another mindset, we need a shift. You know, there are some parents that believe that God, I am looking up to you, come and help. It's you I'm waiting for. If God wants this child to be better, the child will be better. If God wants it, God has given you a responsibility. You're saying, if God wants my child to be better, God does not come down from heaven to parent anybody's child. That's not a right mindset at all. God will not come down and parent your child. God has given you a child, and God expects that you parent that child according to the blueprint that you receive from Him. So you must have a clear family vision, a direction. If not, you will go anywhere expecting anything, believing that anything, whatever, what's this thing? Sarah, whatever we be. It's not whatever we be. You can make things happen. The mindset that we leave everything to God. This child, we just leave everything. How? You must have the mindset to be able to work, to be able to play your role and do your part. You have a part in this business. You have a part in raising that child. You don't just fold your hands and say, okay, I am waiting for the day of change. The day of change needs to be worked out. Yes. The day of change, you need to play your part and don't sit idle doing nothing. Okay. And that will take mindset of knowing that parenting is a calling. You are called to be a parent. It is not a joke that you are entrusted with another individual, with another life. It is serious business. And some of us were entrusted with not just one life, but we're entrusted with 2, with 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 15. Okay. Now you're entrusted with a life. That is serious business. It's a lot. So you must understand what you have gotten yourself into. Yes. You know, when we get into marriage and they're praying, okay, these children, amen. You must understand what you have gotten yourself into. It is serious business. Serious business. We don't just have children so that people get off our back and stop asking us that, Alpha, are you not going to have a child? Are you not? You are not having children. You don't have children to get people off your back. That's one wrong reason to have children. You're not getting children because you just want, okay, so that nobody will be asking and people will not be disturbing me. No. Parenting is a calling. Stop seeing your parenting as an ordinary venture. It is a calling. A calling to raise a generation of awesome children, a generation of lights, a generation of kings and priests, warriors that are ready to change the status quo and shun unconventional wisdom. You know, the vision of School of Parenting is to raise kings and priests through intentional parenting. That is the vision of School of Parenting. Understanding that a child is both a king and a priest. And it takes one that understands that parenting is not just joke, ordinary joke to be able to do that. So your mindset must change. God has entrusted you with serious responsibility. Now, a calling to raise a king and to raise a priest. You are not in this journey by mistake. Hmm? You are not a parent by mistake. You did not have those children by mistake. Even if you feel that, oh, I wasn't ready for this child, it was not a mistake. And none of your children are mistakes. Please, it is so important. Do not ever look at a child or your child and say, you are a mistake. I wouldn't. I never wanted to have you before. You just came mistakenly. Eh? Do you know what you do to a child? You tell the child that it's mistake. No, don't know your child is a mistake. They were divinely orchestrated to be in your house. So you must understand. Stop trivializing your parenting. Stop trivializing your parenting. Stop, I say it again, trivializing your parenting. You have a calling to raise godly children. He said, what do I desire from this union? Huh? He said, godly children. And godly children has to do with children who operate in the realm of kings and operate in the realm of priests. So those are children that knows how to dominate in the secular world and how to still make influence when it comes to the spiritual life. That is your calling. Raising wholesome individuals. Very important and very critical. You see that as a parent, you have a lot of responsibilities. So it's more than when they call you mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy. You have work, serious work. And that is how we say parenting is hard work. But the good thing is that you have been equipped with the ability, the capacity, the capability to be able to do the work. And so you must be ready to do the work and do it well. Okay. So, true warriors. Now, you must understand you are a warrior ready to shoot the arrow. And as you do that, you have the ability to collapse wrong systems and institute or systems that are contrary to light and institute systems of light through the children that you raise. The decadence of every society can be traceable to what happens in the family. The glory of every society can be traceable also to what happens in the family. So parenting is so important. We must have an evaluation of our perspective to parenting, of our ideologies as it relates to parenting. Very important. Do I still have people with me on this conversation? Are you still there? If you're there, can I see your emoji? Maybe your favorite emoji, just to know that you are still with me on this conversation. So, yes, thank you, Reverend Tarek here. Thank you so much, sir. So, yeah, share the link to your friends and family. Do share the link. Parenting mindset shift, so important. Now, what other mindset do we have as parents, or do we should have as parents? One mindset you should have as parents is that parenting is stewardship. Stewardship is something I love so much. It's one aspect I love to talk about. And parenting is stewardship. Parenting is service. Every parent is called to serve. Yeah, very true. Now, there's something I always say, or maybe most of the conversations I always say it, that there is no parent that owns a child. You don't own your children. Your children are given to you by God. You are stewards to take care of your children. So you are a steward. You have someone you are accountable to. And if you are a steward, you must understand that you need to download the blueprints to raise your child. Every child has a unique blueprint. Every child has a unique pattern for raising them. You may have 5 children in your house. The 5 children are not the same. And that is why you must understand each child and know how to deal with each child. The way you discipline one child may differ from the way you discipline your other child, even though both of them are your children. The way you interact and connect with one child may be different from the way you connect with the other. The love language of one of your child is not necessarily the same love language with the other. So you may have 3 children in your house, and one's predominant love language is words of affirmation. And the second is maybe the predominant love language is quality time. And the third may have their predominant love language as gifts, receiving of gifts. And so you now assume that all of them is receiving of gifts. And you keep buying gifts. And you wonder, child A and child B feels like mommy or daddy doesn't love me. And you're like, but I spend money buying gifts. You don't choose how to love someone. You ask them how they want to be loved. You know, most times people like, even when it comes to your spouse, you're like, but I love them. I've been showing them love. And you ask this spouse, like, I don't feel loved. And sometimes that's the way our children feel. Like, I don't feel love from my parent. And the parent is thinking, but I've been doing this, I've been doing that. Because you don't even have an understanding of what the predominant love language of your child is. So you keep doing what you think or what you feel or the way you should love that child. And the child does not feel loved. You are a steward. You must have understanding of certain things. You must understand the blueprint on how to raise your child. Okay. Atamarachi Omiragwa, yes, so it's not whatever we be, we be. Oh. That's not true. Whatever we be needs to be worked out correctly. Very correct. So being a steward is a representative. A steward is a custodian. A steward is a manager. A steward is there to serve. As a parent, you serve when you create the platforms for your children to soar. As a parent, you serve when you create the opportunities for your children to grow. As parents, you serve when you inculcate values in your children. You are serving. As parents, you serve when you take out time to find out the blueprint and the pattern to raise your child. As parents, you serve when you dedicate time to invest in yourself because you want your children to become who God has made them to be. Stewardship. Stewardship. Very important. Now, as a steward, your loyalty to the master's blueprint for raising your child is what is important. You know, sometimes as parents, we have our own plans. So you have the plan in your mind. This is the plan. But does it align with the true blueprint for that child? Does it align? Or you just have your path that you have created? Does your path align with the true blueprint? Your child must not become you, in quotes. I will explain. Your child should become himself or herself. Uniqueness personified. Yes, every child is unique. Every individual is unique. Now, our children take some certain strengths from us and maybe learn some certain maybe weaknesses from us. But your child should not, you not have to say that my child must become he. My child has to be me. My child, Your child is a unique individual, curated, molded, shown by God, built by God, delivered into your house, and say, put him in the right path or her in the right path. So when you say my child must become me, and that's why when parents try to force their children to do certain things, not just because they feel that this is the pathway the child should go, but they feel that, okay, at the end, this is what's going to be beneficial to me. It is wrong. You know, when the word of God says that train up a child in the way it should go, there is a way every child should go. It says according to his individual bent, according to his individual potential and skill. Every child has a way he should go, specific, not necessarily your way. Okay, very important. So it is important that we don't put our child on the wrong path, even if it looks good. Everything that looks good doesn't mean it's right. Yes. That it looks good doesn't mean that is the path your child should go through. That it looks good and everybody is taking that path doesn't mean that your child should take that path. Every child is unique. Every child is special. Every child is distinct. And you must celebrate the uniqueness of your children. And that is why comparing one child with the other is something we shouldn't do as parents. They are different children. You can have two sets of children in your house. One does so well academically, the other one is not so, doesn't do so well, maybe an average student. You don't come home and start comparing that. Can't you see your brother? Can't you see your sister? Every child is unique. Do your part. Try to encourage your other child, motivate, put the things in place that can make the other child better academically. But when you begin to compare your children, one thing you're doing is bringing sibling rivalry. You create the notion that one child is special and the other is not. You don't need that kind of rivalry in your home. You don't. Deal with the challenges of your children individually. Don't downplay any child or make them feel less. Every child is special. No matter the situation that child is going through, no matter the challenges that child is going through at that time, every child is special. And every child has a great destiny. If you do your part as a parent, play your part, play your role. It is very important. So, as we are saying, download the blueprints. Know the blueprints that your child needs. It's very important. If you're going to build a house, don't you make, there's always a plan to build a house. There's a blueprint of how the house is going to be. You're building an individual and you're building without a plan. You just give birth to a child, you don't have plan. There's no blueprint. As the day comes, we know what to do. Okay, we now know, okay, this is who the child should go. Okay, this is how we should now do the child. Okay, and we begin to test from parenting and make our children like specimens, especially the firstborns. Especially the firstborns. You don't have any understanding. You don't have any sense of direction where that child is going to. When you are to raise royalty, when you see kings and priests, or not priests, when you see royalty being raised, maybe royalty in countries where they have monarchy, they are not doing it any carelessly. Everything has been pre-planned. Everything has been organized. So they know the curriculum to be able to raise a king. They have the curriculum to raise royalty. They are not second-guessing themselves. And that's the way we should be as parents. You have the curriculum, the blueprint to raise that child. You are not second-guessing yourself. So when the child gets to this point, you know, this is what I'm supposed to do. When you're confused, you go back to the source. What am I supposed to do? Okay, and you do the right thing. Do I still have people with me on this conversation? Are you still there? I remember a conversation, somebody said that you're not raising children to be your retirement plan. And I laughed during that conversation. The person saying you're not raising children to be your retirement plan. So you're not raising children because, you know what, it's like when you're feeding a chicken. You keep feeding the chicken and feeding the chicken. Why? Because you're waiting for the day that that chicken will serve its purpose in your house. So, okay, there are some of the most important. Okay, these are some of the most important things. Thank you so much at that. That's Mrs. Diana Obadan. Thank you for joining me on this conversation. Okay, so the person said you're not raising your children to be your retirement plan. No, and it looks funny at first, but when you think about it critically, seriously, huh? So you find parents doing all sorts, all manner of things because contrary to the purpose of that child, because they are building children just for their own selfish reasons. Their own selfish reason. Yes, yes, it is important that we guide and guard our children. Yes, because that's one of the reasons you are their parents. Very important. But you can't love your children out of purpose. You can't love your children out of the blueprints in which you are supposed to raise them. Parenting is not your shot at a second chance to become who you were supposed to be that you did not become. Let me explain. You were supposed to be a medical doctor. You could not. Now you now have this child say, hey, this child must be the medical doctor I could not be. But that child is not supposed to become a medical doctor now. Eh? You now force your own passion or your own vision, ambition on the child and force it down the throat of the child. How? Huh? Or you failed in becoming something and you say, okay, my children will now compensate. They came to live their life. Oh. They have their own purpose to fulfill. As a parent, fulfill yours and help them fulfill theirs. Don't get to the point that you have not fulfilled yours and now they should fulfill your own and live their own. It is so important. Very important. And so people do a lot of things these days and you're wondering. Someone said, okay, I had a dream that I was going to marry into a wealthy family. It did not work out. This is my daughter. I just be making her and and you see, people just put their children through a lot of stress, put them in fixes that they're not supposed to get into because some parents are just thinking of how they can have a second lease to life with their children. As far as you are living, you still have hope. Now, it looks like a parent, you had things that you were supposed to fulfill, you have not fulfilled. You are still alive. There is still an opportunity to become. There is still an opportunity. You cannot halt the destiny of your child because you want your ambitions to be fulfilled at the expense of the purpose of your child. Do I have people listening to me in this conversation? Okay, our conversation is what we're going to find this conversation. We're going to find this conversation. There is a question here. Okay, at what age should you let children decide how they want to be loved, considering maturity and experience? Some parental guidance could be based on experience and knowledge of future opportunities. Very true. Now, when your children, let me start with the love language part. When children are young, you find out that the love language can sometimes be a little bit difficult to detect when they're very young, because you see the child, gifts is fine, quality time is fine, but as they begin to get older and begin to get maybe into preteens, teenagehood, and the rest, you can actually begin to be able to detect exactly what their love language is or are. Predominant secondary love languages. There are tools you use that you can use to analyze and be able to exactly pinpoint what someone's love language is, even for children. So when they are younger, display all the love languages. And the good thing about love language is that even if someone's love language is predominantly one thing, it doesn't mean you stop doing the rest. But it's just that the person feel more loved when you express the predominant or the secondary love language. Now, parental guidance is critical. And parents give guidance, like you said, based on experience and based on knowledge of opportunities. But there are times that parental guidance tends to stand as hindrances to actually the future benefit of the child. That is why, as parents, there is one thing we must walk in line with. You must walk in line with God and His blueprint. Now, I know there are times, right? Let me give you a scenario. There are times that maybe a child wants to do a course in school. And you have seen as a parent, based on knowledge, that this course will not be beneficial when it comes to making money in future. And the child wants to do something that brings fulfillment. Now, as a parent, what do? That is where wisdom comes in. So you have to, by wisdom, explain to that child that, okay, this thing is, okay, I know you want to do fulfillment, but you have to think of how you're going to survive. Even though fulfillment can bring survival. Yes, you can do what you're going to fulfill, and the money starts rolling in. But parental guidance is critical. And so you can advise the child, okay, why not do something that in line can maybe give you money, and at the end, you still do what gives you fulfillment. So the child gets to a point. Parents must not leave their children to do what they like. No. Especially when they have not gotten to the age of adulthood. You are responsible for putting them in the right path. But when you're trying to put your child in the right path, check your motives. Check your motives. It is very important. You must check your motives. Are you doing that rightly? Or there is something behind why you are wanting the child to do that. So it's very important. And at that point, parents and children usually have a lot of clashes. I want to do this. The parent wants me to do that. I want to study this. My parent wants me to study that. You must be able to engage in dialogue, especially when you're dealing with teenagers and young adults. You must be able to engage in dialogue, reasoning with them, showing them wisdom. That's the truth. Because it gets to a point that when you are reasoning with them, especially young adults, they have been exposed to a lot of things. So that's where wisdom comes into play. But when you have children, younger children, even teenagers, you must be able to guide them. But effective guidance comes from a parent that have understanding and wisdom and knowledge. How can you guide a child when you don't know how to? And you know the good thing about life? Let me say this. When you have had connection with your children from when they are young, and your children have learned to trust in your judgment. Trusting in judgment does not come because you are just a parent. You have built a connection and relationship with your children, and they've learned to trust your judgment over time. When it comes to the point of setting decisions in their lives, and you're pointing them in a particular direction, there is no hesitation. Because over the years, you have built trust and you have built them to be able to trust you. So when it comes to parental guidance, that's why I was saying that we must have the blueprint. We must work with what God wants. We can't raise a child in this day and time without God. And that's the truth. You can't raise a child in this day and time without wisdom. And true wisdom comes from above. Not just what you see on social media. It comes from above. So when it comes to love languages or love language, from the beginning, the children, they love everything. But as they begin to get older, they have what is predominant, and you can actually assess that with tools. Not you just give the child the form and say, okay, Phil, let me see the love language. There's a way to go about it. And you begin to express more towards the dimension the child prefers, even though you don't stop the other aspect. So if a child prefers to be loved by quality time, doesn't mean you should not buy gifts for that child. It doesn't mean you should not tell the child that the child looks beautiful when the child is actually looking beautiful. Then parental guidance is critical based on your knowledge and your wisdom as a parent. But your wisdom must be wisdom that will produce results in the life of a child. And we must check our motives. I must check our motives. We must not leave our children to, at a point, when they talk about gentle parenting, well, I know I've heard the concept a lot about gentle parenting. Gentle parenting doesn't mean not giving your children boundaries or not guiding them. It has to do with guiding them and putting them in the right path. But it's only parents that have an understanding of the right path that will put their children in the right path. So you don't leave your children, okay, decide whatever you want, whatever you want. But in guiding them, you must have wisdom. You must understand their blueprints. You must also learn to listen to their perspectives, especially when they are teenagers and they're young adults. You must learn to listen to where they're coming from. And you must build trust over the years. You must build trust over the years. You can't come and start asserting authority over a child that you have not connected to and doesn't even trust you. It would not work. Okay. I've seen a lot of comments here. Okay, especially when they have not gotten to the age of adulthood. Very true. Prayerfully so. Very true. Building trust over the years, critical. Oh, our conversation. We just have how many minutes to go on this conversation? Okay. So does that do a little justice to that question? Okay, yes. What about mentoring that long-term connection between the child and the parent? Okay, yes, was about mentoring the long-term connection between the child and the parent. It gets them to trust your judgment easier. They will certainly see it coming from a place of love. Simple. Simple. You must start building from today. Connection, trust is very important. Very important. Oh, I need to start wrapping up this conversation. Oh my God. Mindset shifts. Very important. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try and rush up this so that I can wrap up this conversation. I believe I'll be getting value for the time we'll be investing in this conversation. Have you been getting value? Have you getting value? Maybe thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so much, Reverend Tari, for that question. Thank you so much. I think it has opened up a lot of people to the conversation. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Okay, if you have more comments on that, okay, one of the mindsets we must have as parents is that parenting is responsibility. I think I've been saying it over and over during this conversation. Parenting is responsibility. Was it Bishop Oyedepo that said that responsibility is response to your ability? So when it's responsibility, it means you have the ability within you. You must know that parenting is work. You are here to do work. So parenting is responsibility. You cannot just be dormant and start wishing for great children. You must work out greatness from within them. It is so important. You cannot just leave your children to be raised by their teachers, to be raised by, excuse me, probably the helps you have in your houses, to even be raised by the church alone. Yes, you have a role to play. Parenting is responsible. There are certain things that your children must learn in your house first. Certain things. Before they even get to school, the place of courtesy, the place of the things when it comes to respect, humility, um, honor, excellence, integrity. Those things should be first of all taught in the house. You must be sowing the seeds in the house. You don't wait for them. Okay, when they get to school, oh, when you get to school, you're going to learn it. Start teaching them at home, as little as greeting people. You see people you greet. It starts from the home now. Yes. Little things that children used to learn from the house or the home, we wait. Okay, when they get to school, they will learn it. And we now make the teachers the parents of the children. I don't understand. You are the parents. The teacher is just there to support system. But we flip the roles. And the parent will go to school and be asking the teacher, how come you did not know that my child did not? And are you not the parents? How come you did not know that your child did not know how to do this, or your child is deficient in this area, and you are blaming the teacher? That I have paid school fees. There are things that children should learn from the home first. Home is the first place of socialization. Certain things should be first of all be taught in the home. And when they get out there in school, it can be like an emphasis. And when certain things are taught in the home and children get out there, they can be able to decipher and make decisions based on what they've been taught in the home. So when you leave your child to nothing, the child gets out there and what he is taught in the society becomes the real thing. Because there is no standard of measurements. Nothing was imputed in that child. Nothing. And the child is going home and getting confused. Is this the right way I should go, or this is the right? Because there is no standard of measurement. Nothing, no foundation. Parenting is responsibility. Your children should be able to go out and they are placed in front of certain decisions and they know this is the right one I should take because they are coming from somewhere. Not that it looks like they are coming from nowhere. It is not enough to put our children in very expensive schools. What are you doing as a parent from your home? And you put them in that school, they come home. You don't even evaluate what they are learning. You don't even know what they are teaching them in school because you just believe that, okay, everything is correct. Do you check what they are learning in school? I'm not talking of only academics. Do you check the values that are being put in those children? Do you check the conversations, the things that are filtered into their spirits when they come home? Because when they get there, they associate with people, not just chairs and table. They associate with children that have different form of value system and ideologies. Do you assess it? Parenting is responsibility. Oh, God. Whoa. And you know the funny thing, when we say parenting is responsibility, That is what faith is. Faith is responsibility. So when sometimes you see I heard of, was it an analysis, somebody was saying something that they did an analysis, was it Preschool, I can't remember, and they analyzed people that you have been praying. I think they went to a gathering, people that have been praying for their children, praying for their children, and they asked them, okay, now you have been praying. Have you have what do you have a family vision? Have you done something? Okay, do you have a plan to raise your children? I can't remember where I saw the analysis. Plan to raise your children. What have you put in place? Nothing. Eh? Faith is responsibility. You believe that your children will turn out great. It is responsibility. You have faith, you must be responsible. Faith is not passive. I have faith my children will turn out great. I have faith my children will be world changer. I have faith that my children Faith is responsibility. You must do the work. You believe they will be great. You speak greatness into their life. You pray greatness into them and out of them, and you walk out greatness from them. You cannot be passive as a parent. We can't. I receive my traits. Affirmations. We've talked about affirmations here. Affirmations are backed up with actions. Backed up with actions. They are not mere words. So as you are declaring over your child, my child is intelligent, my child is a light, my child is a positive influencer, my child reveals, you are backing it up with action. Faith is responsibility. Oh my, we need to close this conversation today. The last mindset I'm going to talk about, and seriously, I apologize for overshooting the time. It is not my normal to overshoot my time. For when we have guests, but when it's personal, I don't like overshooting my time. But let me talk about the last mindset quickly. Now, the last mindset you should have as a parent is that parenting is a nation's lifeline. Parenting is a nation's, a country's, a society's lifeline. Very important. The foundation of the change of every nation begins in our homes. The reflection, a society is a reflection of what happens in the homes. It is human beings that stay in the society now, it's not spirits. They came from somewhere now. Every family, our homes, is the lifeline of our nation. So let us check, are we actually giving our nation life, or sucking life out of our nation? And it has a boomerang effect on every one of us. Every one of us. You cannot separate the state of a nation from the state of the families that make up that nation. You can't do that. Shared values come from homes. Respect and empathy should start from childhood. Strong homes build strong and stable communities. So parenting, the mindset you have, parenting is a nation's lifeline. Know that when you're raising your children, you're not just raising them for your house. You're raising them for a society. And as we begin to pump or release individuals into our society, the family is the production factory of the society, of the nation. As we begin to produce and release them into the society, let us check what kind of individuals are we releasing. Okay, at All Glorious Within and Out, faith in the heart translates to actions that are congruent, or consistent with what you are believing for. Very true. Thank you so much. So parenting is a lifeline of every nation. Parenting is not a joke. We are not joking here. We're not joking. We didn't have a child just to prove a point. We did not have children to prove that we are fertile. We didn't have children to prove our fertility. No. We are not joking. We are here for serious business. Wake up and get serious with your parenting. Parenting mindset shifts. I hope we have learned a thing or two from this conversation. I really appreciate everyone that dropped a comment, everyone for the question that came up in this conversation, everyone that gave a thumbs up, everyone that has been part of this conversation, investing your time here. Thank you so much. And I believe that I've received lights. Yes. And what you do with light is what is important. It's not enough to just know. What you do with knowledge That's where wisdom comes into play. Wisdom is application of knowledge. So you need to apply. Everything may not have made sense to you, or everything may not have spoken to you directly, but whatever has caught your attention, your aha moments, work on it. Work on it. Let us be. Remember, I said the journey of becoming is a process. Let us start today, deciding that we'll be better parents, deciding that we will bring children and raise children that will be lights, that will be kings, that will be priests, that will be a voice of change, that will shun out unconventional wisdom, children that will stand and take the battle to the gates, children that you will beat your chest and say, ah, Nami Bonam. Sorry, that was broken English. Very important. So thank you everyone for today's conversation. I believe it has been a good one for everyone. Can I see our comments? If you have learned a thing or two, can I have thumbs up? Can I have a favorite emoji showing that you have learned something for this conversation? Let's hope your online conversation holds every last Monday of the month. Every last Monday of the month. That's when SCP Conversation holds. You can actually follow us on our social media platforms or page, which is School of Parenting SOP. If you are not following us yet, you can like the page and follow us. You can actually subscribe to this YouTube channel so you get notifications. It's also School of Parenting SOP on YouTube. So it's important you can do that. Faith will lead to the silence of worry. Yeah, faith will lead to the silence of worry. And something blocking my screen. So it's important that you can follow us at School of Parenting. You can also join our community. We have a School of Parenting community for parents, even singles, because I believe the training should start before you get into preparation should start before you get into the battle, like I said. So we have a School of Parenting community. If you're interested, you can send me a DM. We'll join you, we'll send you the link, and you can be part of the community. Thank you everyone for joining me on this conversation. It has been an amazing one. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, thank you, thank you. All glorious within and out. All glorious within and out. Thank you for joining me on this conversation. So I'll see you next month. Yeah. In the month of August, the last Monday, the month of August. Like I always end every conversation. Spend time with your family, spend time with your children. Connection is critical. Connection builds trust. Connection will make discipline easier. Spend time with your family. I will always end with this quote by Zig Ziglar. To a child, love is spelled time. So do well, create memories with your family. That's what will last. That's what all you finally have, the memories you create with your family. So thank you everyone. And do have a beautiful night, a beautiful afternoon, a beautiful morning, depending on where you're watching me from. I am Kite Ahmed, the founder of School of Parenting and the convener of SOP Online Conversation. Bye for now. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Tari. Thank you, Diana Obadan. Thank you, Amaracho Miragua. Thank you, all glorious within and out. Thank you, everyone that's been part of this conversation. Thank you, Reverend Tosan Adodo. Thank you, my husband, Reverend Christian Ahmed. Thank you, everyone. Everyone. You may not have dropped a comment, but thank you for joining. I may not see your name here. Thank you, at Sancho Jichadas. Thank you, everyone. It's bye for now. Bye.